Greetings, one and all. Thank you for taking time out of your busy August schedule to connect with us today. Super excited to have Mr. Frank with us. Frank, thank you for taking on the challenge of educating us and helping us understand how to scale our short-term rental portfolio. Looking forward to the conversation. Thank you. Thanks for being
Yeah,
with us.
same here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. VR Nation is an association built around property managers for property managers. Our intent is to assist you where you're at and help you succeed what you want to do. Frank, if you'll roll the next slide for me, please.
Yep.
And so VR Nation has lots of educational and informational opportunities for you, webinars being one of them. We also have our national conference coming up next April in Denver, Colorado. And we also have a whole bunch of one-day seminars or one-day roadshows coming up. And all of that information can be found at VR Nation. And so looking forward to seeing you at the next event. In the meantime, let's turn it over to Mr. Frank, who is ready to, from a cleaning professional standpoint, vomit all over us with great information and all sorts of things that we need to know to help us succeed. Frank, the
Yes.
virtual floor is yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for having me. So hello to everyone who attended today or is attending today. I'm Frank Bosi. I am the Senior Director of Partnerships here at Hostfully. And today we're just going to dive right into it. And that's how to grow your short-term rental business without burning out or losing control, either one or both. Obviously, it's easier said than done, I know, but as your portfolio grows, and as we know, things things get to they tend to get more complex, and I'm sure that all of you on this call can attest. You miss cleanings. Late night owners can sometimes text you, and those texts are coming in, and unfortunately, those scattered operations are just all too common, but with the right systems, like the right property management software, you can easily automate your tasks. You can centralize communication and just get a real-time visibility into your performance as a property manager, your team's performance, but also how your properties are performing. And today I plan to show you how that right property management software can help property managers scale with confidence, at the same time streamline operations, but also keeping both owners and guests happy. So we are going to kick things off with a quick poll. So feel free to answer this in the chat, guys, just so we get a true sense of who is on this webinar. I'd like to know, how many properties are you currently managing? If you own those properties, or are you managing on behalf of an owner, or even if you do, arbitrage or co-hosting. So again, in the chat function, it's right in the bottom middle of your screen. Just kind of post that out as I continue to present, just so I can get a better understanding of, who's on the team and what really to cover today. But growth, as we know, is exciting, but we also have to be real. It adds a level of complexity as we grow. So managing more listings doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get more revenue. It means that you're going to get more bookings to track, cleanings to coordinate, guest messages to respond to, and owners to keep updated. And if you're still, and probably not for this caliber of attendees, but if you're still relying on spreadsheets or text messages or even managing operations manually, you've probably felt the chaos slowly creeping in. If you haven't been there yet, it's bound to happen as you scale. Maybe a cleaning gets missed, or an owner texts you at 11 p.m. asking about availability, or even worse, you start losing track of how your properties are actually performing. And at that point, it starts to feel less like a business and more like, as my sloth here shows, juggling flame swords. But there is good news. With the right systems in place, you can scale without all that chaos. So Hostfully, and other property management softwares as well, because I'm sure many of you use other softwares, we are designed for exactly this, for you to scale without the chaos. So we help you centralize your operations, automate repetitive stuff, and really give you the visibility across your entire portfolio. And even if you're not on Hostfully, this is a reminder to start building that operational foundation before things start slipping through the cracks. Of course, with that said, growth isn't just about adding properties. It's really about simplifying how you manage those properties. So I would start by ditching the patchwork and the tools and switching to a single platform for bookings, guest messages, and team coordination. And I would begin with one high friction area like cleanings or guest check-ins and just automate it completely full. Small wins here make a big difference. Small changes definitely go a long way. So really the bottom line here is just centralize your tools, automate your repeat work, integrate your tech stack. Your tech stack really becomes important when you have a property management software and as you scale, but also it helps you stay in control as you scale. And that's how you grow with confidence instead of that anticipatory chaos. So in an effort to avoid that, we want to centralize our tools. So with that fix for all of this chaos, it comes down to one word, and that one word is systems. More specifically, a property management system or a PMS. That brings all of the moving parts of your short-term rental business under one roof. I like to think of it like hiring all-in-one an operations manager, a guest communication assistant, and a data analyst. Again, all in one dashboard. If you're constantly switching between 6 tabs and 4 different channels or OTAs just to manage bookings, to message your guests, to schedule cleanings, or even simply update owners, you're on a fast track to burnout, in my opinion. And a strong property management software gives you that single source of truth.
Frank, to be tongue in cheek, well, that's the adrenaline rush, right? As we switch between place to place, did I do it? I'm tongue in cheek, of course. We all want it in the same place, but yeah.
Yes, yeah, and the thing is, you can still double check, but having that software where that software is your single source of truth
Oh yeah,
for
absolutely.
reservations, communications,
Absolutely.
assignments, it makes you still have that rush, but at the same time, doing it a little bit more organized.
Of course, right? Because that's
Like
what we're after.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, with Hostfully, for example, you get a unified calendar, a central inbox, task automation tools, you get an owner's portal. And this, again, Dirk, is all designed to keep your team and yourself and your operations in sync. And the best part of it all is that it connects seamlessly with tools that you're already using. Obviously, the channels, smart locks, dynamic pricing tools, cleaning apps, and really in an effort to centralize your tools, I like to start by centralizing your bookings, your messaging, the team tasks, all in one platform. And it's one of the easiest ways to cut down on errors, but also save time instantly. So I always like to say, just don't wait until you're overwhelmed to implement a system. If you have 1 listing, 2 listings, get ahead of that growth now so you're scaling smart and strategically and not scrambling later. Because not only are you going to have a software to learn, you're also going to have guests to appease. So you might as well get on the track now, get a property management software. This way you can give all of your energy and all of your love and all of your dedication to your short-term rental to the guest. But really the bottom line is centralizing everything.
Right.
Automate that repeat work, stay in control as you scale, and then of course integrating your tech stack. And that's how top short-term professionals grow with confidence and without the chaos. But after that, what we want to do is we want to automate what repeats. And we have to be real here. We're not robots. So we have to stop running our business like one. And if you're still manually sending pre-arrival emails, and the pre-arrival emails on my demos is interesting because a lot of people like to give that TLC, that care, that attention to the guest. You don't technically need to do that manually every single time. You can automate that. But also juggling those cleaning schedules can be a pain, and pulling together owner reports by hand. It's really time to let automation take the wheel. And I know it's hard for some of us to do that, myself included, but with the right tech stack in place, scaling your portfolio, growing your business, it stops feeling like a juggling act and starts feeling like this orchestrated procedure. Of course, property management software makes this easy. again, by syncing bookings across all the platforms using a built-in channel manager. So when a change is made on your property management software, it communicates to all of the channels to which it connected. We're also wanting to consolidate all of that guest communication into a unified inbox, Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, and Hostfully also offers digital guidebooks that answer guest questions before they even hit send. So you can set up automated triggers for messaging with specific variables to make it personalized to that guest. And we call them complex conditions. So you can get really granular as to when that message gets sent out. But again, the cleaning tasks directly to the booking calendar, and then you auto-generate monthly owner reports. So, I mean, that in itself, you create a report, you send it the first, the last of the month, and it automatically gets uploaded to the owner's portal with no extra clicks required. And the best part of it all is leveraging that opportunity that you get for a tech stack. And of course, that depends on the property management software and which software they integrate with. But with the right one for you, a property management software that fully integrates with the tools that you're already using, like Price Labs, Breezeway, Turno, Zapier, Slack. So everything just flows together seamlessly. And when you're focusing, oh yeah, go for it, Dark.
I was going to say, so it sounds like that what you're proposing, there are those that when you start small, you like the high touch, I can curate each email to the person I'm speaking with. And then as we grow in numbers, it sounds like you're saying the system can create or generate some of that connectedness as well in an automatic way. Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying?
yeah, exactly. I mean, one example is, checking in on the guest 2 hours after they check in. You can automate that. You create a template with the specific variables and have it read, "Dear guest, welcome to the property. We're thrilled to have you with us. Have any questions? Let us know. We just want to make sure that you have the most memorable stay." Whatever verbiage you want to share, you create that template, and then you we call them a trigger, which is the automation, and you're going to send that 2 hours after the guest checks in. So now every single one of your guests will receive this email personally from you, checking in on them, seeing how their stay is going, and offering assistance right before they even have the opportunity to send you a message about the unit. So there's a lot that you're
Fascinating.
able to do and still keep that, like you said, still keep that curated message, and you can also brand it at the same time.
So curious. So this is meant to be a curiosity question, and if I derail this, I'm so sorry.
No, 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 please.
So I know Doug Kennedy has been a proponent and an advocate of a video message to the guest, welcoming
Mhm.
them or doing things of that nature. How do you see that playing into the system, and how can that be automated? Because, to say dear guest in the video to me seems kind of cold, but I
Well,
can see
dear
what
guest is
you're
the variable. So guest is the variable. So it'll pull, let's say Frank makes a reservation. It'll say dear and then pull the first name from the guest and it'll say, "Dear Frank, welcome to the Sky Club." So it'll pull the variables specific to that reservation. But like Doug Kennedy said, and a lot of our guests have that, on our guidebook, you're able to upload videos. So what a lot of our
saying.
users do is they'll have a welcome video, they'll put the guidebook there, and not only that's kind of twofold, where not only will they access your guidebook now, but they will also see a video from you welcoming them. You can also share how to use a device or some fun welcome message. So there's a lot that you're able to do with that. But yes, sorry for the miscommunication, but for clarification, the
No, no, no,
dear
no, no.
guest
It's
will
okay.
pull.
I took it a different direction. We're all good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, sorry. Sometimes I still feel like I'm doing demos. But really what we want to take from this is we want to focus ultimately on this seamless flow. And as I mentioned earlier, I suggest to do that with starting with your most time-consuming tasks, if it is guest messaging, for example, and set up just one automation, as you and I just chatted about. And you're going to be amazed at how much time that really frees up. And then just going back to our digital guidebooks, this cuts down on repetitive guest questions. It really is a game changer for both your guest and your support team. So you want to automate the repetitive. You want to streamline communications, level up the guest experience, but at the same time, with the right property management software, is connecting with your favorite tools and software with the integration. And that's how you move from reactive mode to running a well-oiled operation. And then that of course comes with a team. So you want to delegate with structure. Now that we have more automations in place, your day-to-day is looking a lot less manic, and you're starting to scale, get more properties. But of course, as your business grows, you're going to need more hands on deck. You could do that to a certain extent with automations and software, but that doesn't have to mean that you're going to need more chaos before doing that, or chaos while doing that. And the key is to delegate with structure. And that means giving your team the right tools, but also these clearly defined access points, so everyone knows their specific role and they can work independently from there. Again, with the property management software, with Hostfully, for example, you can set custom user permissions. So each team member of yours sees only what they need, nothing more. So you can limit what your team sees. Cleaners can view their assigned tasks through our mobile-friendly dashboard. A lot of you are probably using virtual assistants, so your VAs can help with messaging and guest support, again, without accessing that sensitive data. And then we have an owner's portal where the owners can log into their self-serve portal where they can check availability, their earnings, they can block their own dates. Up to you, of course. You can limit the amount of accessibility that your owner requires or requests. So no more late night texts asking for updates or random emails asking, hey, how's my listing producing? And it's 2 days into the month. So when you build these smart systems, your team stays in their lane, and you can stay focused on growing the business, but also not micromanaging it, which I think is very important. So with that, once you get more of a team, you want to set up those user roles and those permissions as soon as you bring someone new onto your team. So you set up the SOP, someone new joins the team, and it's avoidable confusion, and it really keeps your operations tight from day one someone starts on your team. And it's a very transitional industry in which we work. So having those systems in place will definitely alleviate the chaos. But we can also start using mobile task tools to keep your cleaners, your teams aligned in real time without relying on those spreadsheets, sticky notes. I've heard some horror stories. But then also, the cleaners kind of say how they want operations to be run. We rely heavily on them in the industry. And sometimes they like text threads. So it's kind of, just start using those mobile task tools that your property management software provides and start training them from day one. Say, this is how communication happens. This is what I expect. This way, it's a can of worms you don't necessarily have to open them. So again, just recapping, you want to assign the right access points. You're going to streamline the team workflows. You're going to reduce the owner emails. And most of all, you're going to manage without micromanaging, because one, nobody likes to be micromanaged. And two, you don't have time to micromanage because you're going to have everything set up successfully. And that's how you scale with a team without losing the control. And then also, if you see repeatable offenses, right? So next up, this is one of the biggest secrets to scaling your vacation rental business is the power of repeatable processes, is what I like to call it. We've touched on this a few times already, but it's worth repeating. Overall growth isn't just about hoping that things go smoothly. It's about building systems that make things run smoothly every single time. So if you're treating each property like this unique little snowflake, you're going to spend more time troubleshooting than actually growing and scaling. Instead, moving forward, let's try to aim for repeatable excellence. So we start by standardizing your guest communication, as we chatted about a bit earlier, by using message templates. This way, every guest service is clear and is provided with consistent information, regardless of the property. Then from there, you can create property onboarding checklist that ensures each new listing is set up the right way. And that means from photos to pricing to task flows. And what's even better from here is you can set up automation rules that work across your entire portfolio. So the moment a booking comes in, the right messages get sent out, the cleaning tasks are assigned automatically. So you can get this process seamless from the second a reservation comes through. And I would suggest creating a master kind of task flow SOP for turnovers. Then from there, you make these small tweaks for properties with special features like hot tubs or linen service or mid-stay cleanings as we start seeing longer reservations come through. That way, you're never really starting from scratch, and again, alleviating that chaos and that burden. But with the right property management software, you can really build all of this using, like I mentioned, the save message templates, the setup templates, the automation, the cross-listing automations. So you're not just managing growth, you're actually building a business that scales with intention, but most importantly, with efficiency. And then there's tech. So let's talk about tech, AI, all that fun stuff, because whether you realize it or not, technology is your most reliable business partner, especially when you're scaling. When you're scaling a short-term rental portfolio, the right tools don't just support growth, they actually make it possible. So with smart systems in place, every new property adds more tasks. And the more people you have, the more room for things to fall through the cracks. But again, with the right tech stack and the right software, this growth, this organic growth, feels efficient, manageable, and exciting, like you brought up earlier, Dirk. We want to keep that excitement in this new business venture that you've started on and that you've been running with. And with that property management software that you choose, that should be more than just a calendar. It should function as your brain, your assistant, and ultimately your safety net. You should rely heavily on your property management software, but it should also automate all of that repetitive stuff, at the same time keeping your team aligned, which can get kind of tricky if you don't have the right systems in place. But ultimately, what you want from this is you want it to give you this visibility to make better business decisions moving forward. This way you can scale seamlessly and strategically. So when evaluating platforms, if you have a property management platform that you're not happy with and you want to look at other ones, if you don't have a property management platform and you're doing everything manually, I would suggest look for those that offer strong automation, flexibility, user-friendly dashboards, and really deep integrations with phenomenal customer service and onboarding as well.
So a question, Frank.
Perfect timing. Yep.
And as I think about, the comment you just said is if someone's evaluating, tech, whenever the tech transition takes place, it's an opportunity to reevaluate processes and systems, because if you're leaving a paper system or a technology system for another technology system, it thinks it does, it operates differently. So my question to you uh, is how would I, if I'm in this scenario, how would I know what processes that make my business who I am, which ones do I hold on to, and which ones do I change because now the tech is changing and it thinks differently and it doesn't provide the information, or the information flow is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
How do I find that balance of this is how I operate, this is who I am, and now the tech is saying, well, you kind of need to change a little bit because that's not how it thinks. So how do we strike that how do I strike that balance?
Well, first, I think, knowing what works for you and what works for your current setup and what you're also willing to change. And the thing that you're willing to change is probably the thing that's not working for you right now with your current property management software. And I'll be honest, I prefer the transparency on my demos. I can give you the spiel of who Hostfully is, how great we are, how awesome our customer service is. But I would love to start by finding out who you're with, why you're considering leaving them, because then I can provide a solution. Or I could also say, yes, that's an issue with us as well. Maybe it's a limitation on the other software. Maybe it's a limitation on Verbo side. Who knows? But going in with an open mentality, knowing that this is the biggest thing to take from this is not every property management, not one property management software is going to be the best software for all property management or
For
property
sure.
managers or vacation
For
rental
sure.
managers.
Yeah.
Because we're all looking for something different. Everything is, we're all looking for something specific for our market and for our SOP. So kind of just going in to those demos with what's important to you, what is imperative to keep, and then also what you may be willing to give up or change or find out how that software will work with you in the event that the answer is no. So a great customer success manager, a great customer support team, onboarding is crucial. So ask about onboarding, because onboarding, those are the people that are going to get your foundation in place. They're going to make your skeleton is strong. They're going to make sure your skeleton is strong, and they're going to set you up for success right from the get-go to ensure that you're able to scale successfully and run your day-to-day business successfully.
Mhm.
So it's, I wish there was one answer for that, but it's kind of just going in with an open mind as well as flexibility. Because I can tell you, I've had so many demos where people come in from a competitor and they'll demo with us and they'll be like, oh, so you do the same thing, but you do X, Y, and Z a little bit better, but the transition might be a lot, and they'll stay with their current software. And I could also tell you a few months go by and then they move on over to us. So it's all contingent on what you're looking for, and timing has to do with everything, because you also don't
Absolutely.
want to do it during your busy season. And of
No,
course,
I had to do
yeah,
that by mistake once last year actually, and I would not recommend that. No, don't. It's
no,
not worth the headaches. No.
exactly. And that's the good thing too, is again, not every property manager's busy season is the same as the next property
No,
manager,
right.
you
Absolutely.
know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's kind of just finding the timing, what's working for you, and just having the flexibility and the open mind, but also knowing that you're not going to find everything in one software. If there is all the other, I don't know how many property management softwares there are in this industry, those are going to be mute because you found the one that does everything, and that just doesn't exist yet. I don't know. We'll see what the next couple of years bring. I've been with Hostfully for 5 years, and I've seen our software grow significantly, but I've seen this market just this industry just blow up in a good way. And we're really just still at the tip of the iceberg, which is what I'm really excited about with VRNation, and the education sessions and everything that y'all provide. Is just educating people as they go and as they grow. So kudos to you for doing that, because again, we are at the tip of the iceberg, and who knows what the
Great.
future has in store for software.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
So there is a question in the Q&A. The question is, how do you evaluate if your tech stack is helping or holding you back?
well, that again goes back to the property management software, because you want to make sure, because sometimes the simple answer is your property management software does not have a strong API and doesn't communicate with the software to which you're connected. And that might be the simple process. You may have to find a software that has a stronger connection and integration with that software, but also a stronger partnership. So in the event that something were to happen, let's say with Hostfully and Price Labs, you know Frank is going to reach out to Price Labs and we'll figure that out for you. So again, sometimes it's just on the property management software side. Sometimes it's on, you know, the integration software side. But if you find that there are glitches along the way, you kind of want to figure out what that glitch is. If you can change it around a bit, that'll be great. But again, similar to property management softwares, there are a ton of other software that are turnover management, dynamic pricing tools, guest screening and insurance. Like there's all of those now. We have multiple. We have over 100 integrations in our integration zone. So if one doesn't work for you, you best bet that we have another one that we can recommend. Of course, considering, you know, what you're looking for as a property management software.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So even like going back, like with the right property management software, you want to make sure that it's going to centralize your operations and at the same time streamline that team coordination. But then, as we mentioned, Dirk, you want to connect with the tools that you already use, like pricing software, smart locks, cleaning apps, all that fun stuff. And again, I can't stress it enough. While every business is different, the ideal platform that you do end up choosing will grow with you. You want to make sure that it's able to grow with you, what their trajectory is, what they have planned the next year or two in their pipeline. And you want that property management software to grow with you and not against you. Because the last thing you want is to go through what Dirk went through and transition over to another property management software. So ask all the questions you have and do all the research that you possibly can. And I mean, even going back with the tech stack that you mentioned, what I would recommend, like a kind of like a tip that you can start today, is just schedule 15 to 30 minutes each month to review your integrations, your automations, and your overall tech stack should evolve with your business. So you could be using a software now that's good for like 1 to 5 listings, but let's say you acquire 10 more, that software doesn't work for you, look into another one. So again, look for a tech stack that's going to evolve with you in your business, but also help you strategically scale. And those like 15 minutes, those 30 minutes every month, just to make sure that your ducks are in order, can save you hours of time down the line. And because with the right property management software in place, you're not just managing growth, you're actually scaling smart and you're scaling strategically.
So then building on that for just a second, how do I find a technology partner that matches my personality of who I am as a business operator and who I want to become as a business? How do I work? How do I find that partner?
You're doing your due diligence, doing those demos. Well, before you do the demos, research. Maybe, Google or consolidate. Google, like, top property management softwares in the industry. Look at their reviews, although sometimes those can be wrong, but
Yeah.
kind of get like an idea of how many there are, and then demo those and see which ones are the right fit. It is a daunting process, but when you meet with your property management software sales representative, that says everything that you need to know about the software. If you show interest in a demo and learning more about the software and they respond with a recorded demo, right off the bat, in my opinion, that should get an X. Because again, a recorded demo is not going to give you the feel of the company, the culture of the company. It's not going to answer the questions you have regarding features and capabilities of the software. So like stuff like that. And unfortunately, the more demos you do, the more of an expert you become in prospecting property management softwares. And again, I would do the same with the other software, with dynamic pricing tools and all those. But really, I think most of your time and your energy should be on focusing on the right property management software, because that's where you're going to integrate with all the software, but you're also going to be spending most of your time and communicating to your guests, to the channels, to your owners. So if that answered your question, Dirk.
Yeah, I think right, because how I operate and who I am is different from the next operator of how they operate and who they are. And making
Yeah,
sure that my technology partner is in alignment with who I am is a critical component to that.
yeah, it really is. And even, oh, there's a question. What's the biggest mistake people make when choosing their first property management software? And it's not only their first property management software. I think the biggest mistake people make is really it's choosing the software based on price. Now, I shouldn't say never go with price alone, but consider price. There are some software out there that are ridiculously expensive, and I, as a property manager and a director of sales and partnerships that sell software, some of the pricing is absurd to me. So choosing based only on price, or on one specific shiny feature. Let's say automation is important to you and the price is super low for that property management software. Chances are that that's all you're going to get. And as you continue to grow, you're going to realize, hey, I need more than this one shiny feature. So a property management software is the backbone of your business. It's going to grow with you, and you need something that is user-friendly, it's scalable, and integrates with the tools that you're already using or the tools that you already want to use further down the road. And it should grow with you. It's definitely, if you're going to take something from this, make sure it's a software that is innovative, that is growing, that, if you ask them, do you have this feature? And they say, unfortunately, at this time we don't, but we have an internal list and it's anticipated to get, this feature is anticipated to get released in Q1 of 26. Give it a buffer. Might be Q2 26. Speaking from experience, but again, it should grow with you and not become another thing that you have to replace next year.
Right.
So yeah, great question, guys. It's do not focus solely on price and do not focus solely on one feature. Kind of think ahead of where you want to be in the future and see if that's going to work with you. And again, as you grow, you have to remember that systems want to help with your sanity. So growth doesn't have to be chaotic. Scaling your short-term rental business shouldn't mean the more properties you have, the more stress you should have. But without the right foundation, it's easy to feel pulled in 100 different directions. And the secret to growing with confidence is to work smarter and not harder. I know we hear that all the time. Work smarter, not harder. But that's kind of what we want to take from this entire webinar. And that starts with the 5 core strategies that we discussed. So again, you want to centralize your operations so you're not bouncing in between platforms and channels. You want to automate the tasks that you find yourself repeating daily, because that's going to save you a ton of time once you automate that repetitiveness. You also want to delegate with structure, so your team knows exactly what to do, because the more you grow, the more people you're going to need hands on deck. Standardizing your workflows across properties. And then you want to make sure to leverage the technology that this growing industry is offering to you to bring it all together. So whether you're using Hostfully or another property management software, this approach to centralize, automate, delegate, standardize, and leverage technology, it just works. And it helps you stay in control. It helps you align your team. But most importantly, and a lot of us forget this, but it helps you enjoy the business that you wanted to build. So kind of just remembering to bring it back and what you enjoy doing and what you want to do, and not just focus on numbers and money. So again, taking everything that we chatted about, there's no need to run out of the gate hot. Start small. Start with these small little tips by documenting maybe just one repeatable process. After this webinar, as your day-to-day continues, maybe for August, focus on one repeatable process to improve. Maybe that's onboarding a new property. Maybe it's coming up with an SOP to prep for a seamless check-in. Turn it into a checklist or a template, and then automate that where you can. And you'll be surprised how quickly those small wins add up. And we have a really good example, and that is, I thought it'd be cool to share one of our users who's, again, a great standout example based on everything we spoke about today, and that's Doko Vacation Rentals. Rob and Susie are awesome. They're phenomenal. And the great thing with them is they started with just one listing. And I shouldn't even say listing. They started with one condo and they scaled to 13 properties in 3 years. Now, for some of us, 13 properties is still not a lot, but going from 1 to 13 in 3 years, simply by automation and getting your SOP together, is impressive. So before Rob and Susie had Hostfully, they were managing everything manually. So their bookings, their cleaning schedules, their pricing adjustments, you name it, they did everything manual. But then once they turned on Hostfully and they were able to connect with cleaning automation and dynamic pricing for real-time pricing, the transformation was dramatic because they found that they have so much more time. They actually cut 50% of their manual workload, which ultimately, again, freed Rob and Susie to focus on marketing initiatives, focus on scaling. So you got to interview the owners, they got to look at the properties because now they have time to do more research on what's actually important in acquiring a rental. But most of all, they went back to actually enjoying the business that they created together instead of just drowning in these operations. So yeah, and I spoke with Rob a few years ago at VRMA, and I'm never going to forget this, how excited he was about saying how Hostfully became the engine behind a smoother, more balanced lifestyle. Not saying, again, not saying Hostfully is the only software that can meet your needs. We're not. Full transparency. If any other software says that they have everything you need, on to the next, because can't be trusted. But what this does,
everybody has a personality and everybody has strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. And everyone's looking for something different in their day-to-day. But what this does say is that the right software isn't just software. It's ultimately the power behind sustainable, stress-free growth. And we've seen that today. Scaling your short-term rental businesses, it doesn't have to be the self-sacrificing control. You don't have to drown in tasks. I mean, you will for a while until you figure it out with the software. And burnout is, I think, the huge reason that people sell their property or churn or cancel their property management software, because they choose the wrong one. But with the right systems, the smart automation, the tech stack that actually works for you, growth becomes manageable and even enjoyable. So whether you're just starting to scale, or maybe you're already juggling multiple listings, the property management system like Hostfully can be the foundation that brings everything together. So in an effort to conclude and stop my rambling, just remember that success isn't about doing more manually, it's about doing less better. So just take a step back, evaluate your workflows, think about your day-to-day, and just build a setup that helps you grow with confidence. So with all that being said, just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you guys for having me. And if anyone has any more questions, I'm more than happy to answer those.
Great. Frank, thank you so much. Appreciate your time and your the 5 points that you brought up. Will you repeat those 5 points one more time, please?
Yes. I have them jotted down. So it's first, you want to centralize your operations.
Right.
So you're not bouncing in between platforms.
Right.
You want to automate the texts that you
Right.
repeat daily.
Yeah.
You want to delegate the team with structure, so your team
Yes.
knows exactly what to do. So it's centralize, automate, delegate, standardize your workflow across all properties, not just one. All of your properties should have a standard workflow. And then again, make sure you're choosing and leveraging the right technology to bring all of that together.
Outstanding. Excellent. Frank, thank you so much. Appreciate your time and being willing to share your expertise today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And to those that are in attendance, either virtually at a later date or today, we are grateful for your attendance. Please don't forget to go to the VRNation website to see, or the VRNation YouTube to see a recast of this or other webinars, and also to learn about the upcoming national conference and the roadshows that are taking place. Frank, thank you again. And to each of you, have a wonderful August.
Yes. Thank you very much, guys.
Welcome y'all to the VRNation station. We're diving deep into vacation rental sensations. From management tips to the latest creation, join us each week for some sparkle and conversation. VRNation station, tune in and feel the thrill.